Hi students, welcome to today's class. Now we are going to see about iterative statements. So till now we have seen selective statements and sequence statements we have seen. Next, the third statement what we are going to see here is iterative statements. So what is meant by iteration? Iteration means based on some conditional test, some of the statements are going to be executed again. Okay, so in some programs certain set of statements are going to be executed again based upon the conditional test, that is executed more than one time. That is only known as iterative statements or looping statements. So this type of execution is called a looping or iteration. So next we are going to see an algorithm for this iterative statements. Write an algorithm to print all natural numbers up to n. So all the numbers starting from one particular number, that is 1 to n. N is the limit. Okay, so n is the number what we are going to give from outside. Okay, so step 1, start. Step 2 is take any number, that is for n, no, we need to get the value and we need to assign it to n. Okay, so store it in n. N is the variable in order to store the limit value, and then we need to assign the starting value. Okay, so step 3 is store 1 in I, that is I should be assigned with some value, that is initial value is here 1. Initial means what? It's a starting value. So for I is 1, we are going to assign in the step 3. So next in step 4, we need to check the I value, because before we go and print all the natural numbers, we need to check whether that number is less than or equal to that limit or not. We need to check, because sometimes we may give limit as 1 also or 2. So we need to check the condition, okay, whether that number is false within that limit number, okay, or equal to that limit number. We need to check it. So check I value. If I is less than or equal to n, that is limit value, then go to step 5. That is you can print that natural number. Okay, or else go to step 8. So step 8 is what? Stop. Okay, so if the condition is false, automatically you need to stop the process. Okay, you cannot print anything. Next is after printing I, immediately it will increment the I value by 1. So I is equal to I plus 1 is going to be performed here. So increment I value by 1 means what? Already I will be having some value, that is initial value assigned for I as what? 1 only. So 1 plus 1, now I will become 2. Next we need to go to step 4. Okay, step 4 we need to go here. See here, next is stop. So if you check the I value here, if I is less than or equal to n, then go to step 5, print. Here actually step 5, 6 after 7 should be written here. Okay, so step 5 is not, so here it should be changed as step 7. So after incrementing I value, 7th step is go to step 4. Okay, again we need to check the I value. If I is less than or equal to n, you can go to step 5. That means you can print the value of that natural number, and you can increment the I value by 1, or else you can go to, the condition is false, you can go to step 8. So here, according to this condition, these two statements, that is printing I, is going to be executed for how many number of times? N number of times. So certain set of statements are going to be executed again based upon the conditional test. So here the conditional test is I is less than or equal to n is the conditional test. According to this test, print I is going to be executed for up to n number of times. If n is 10 means 10 times this print I is going to be executed. So 1 to 10 is going to be printed. So in the above example, step 4, 5, 6, 7 is going to be executed more than one time. So 4 is also checked many times. I also going to be printed, and then 6th step and then 7th step. So all these 4 steps are repeated according to this condition. Okay, so that's why it is known as iterative statements are looping statements. Okay, so this is a kind of example for iterative or looping statements. Next we will see next topic, that is flowchart. So after we write the algorithm, we need to know how to draw the flowchart. So what is meant by flowchart? It's a pictorial representation of the algorithm, or we can also show the steps. These steps, that is algorithmic steps, no, is going to be shown in the graphical form by using some symbols. Okay, so we can also show these steps in graphical form. That means we can show the step-by-step process of solving a problem in a graphical format or in a pictorial format or diagrammatic way by using some symbols. This is called flow charting. So this is the definition for flow chart. That is, diagrammatic representation of an algorithm is known as flow chart, or pictorial representation of an algorithm is called as flow chart, or graphical way of representing an algorithm is known as flow chart. Like that, any method you can write the answer for definition of algorithm. Sorry, definition of flowchart. Next is flowchart symbols. So some of the symbols we are going to use here in this flowchart. So standard symbols, that is basic symbols, what we are going to use in our respective functions is, some of the standard symbols along with the respective functions, that is a respective work. Okay, what work this symbol is going to do, that work also mentioned here in the following table. So you can see one by one. So the first symbol is, whenever you draw the flowchart, initial symbol will be oval shape. Okay, so that oval shape is always otherwise known as terminator symbol. So terminator symbol, so this is used for start or stop process. Okay, in order to start the algorithmic or start the process, we will use the start, or in order to stop the program we will use the stop. Okay, so this terminator symbol or oval shape symbol is going to be used for indicating start and stop. And the next symbol is known as, the name of this symbol is parallelogram. So the first symbol shape name is oval shape, and it is used for starting and stopping the process. And second symbol is known as parallelogram. This symbol is used as input and for output also. So the first symbol is used for both the process start and stop, and inside this symbol we will write the start and we will write the stop. By right clicking on the symbol we will get one menu. So in that menu, add text we can give in order to add the text like start and stop. Next is parallelogram. In order to get the input and also to display the output or to print the output, we will use this parallelogram symbol. Next, the third symbol is rectangle. That is the rectangle shape. Okay, it's not a square; it's a rectangular shape. So rectangular shape is used for processing. So it is called as, otherwise it is known as process box. So in order to do any calculation work, for example, sum is equal to sum plus I, or print I. Okay, print I, actually it is going to print it with the help of this symbol. So sum is equal to sum plus I is equal to I plus 1. Like that, any calculation, computation work if you want to do, you can use this rectangular shape, processing work. And then decision box, whenever you go for the condition checking. Okay, so if I is less than or equal to n, or if a number is less than 0 or greater than 0, like this, any conditions if you want to check, you can go for this decision box. Okay, what is the name of this box? Decision box. Okay, so this decision, that is diamond shape is used as a decision box. And next one is arrow. So this arrow is used to indicate flow of control. Okay, so flow of control means what? So from which part of the program to which part the execution flow is carried out. So in order to understand that, we will use this connector, that is the flow lines, or else we will call it as arrows. So these arrows are going to be used in order to indicate the flow of control. So from where to where the program execution goes. To understand that, we will use this that is the flow lines. Okay, next shape is circle shape. So circle shape is used as a connector here. So the function of this circle shape is what? Connector. Okay, so that means if your flow chart is going beyond one page, okay, if it is crossing more than one page, okay, whenever you draw the flow chart in MS Word, if the flowchart is going beyond one page, so that page end you will use this connector symbol, and inside that symbol, no, that is inside the shape, you will write a letter. So either a capital letters only normally we will use, English letters, no, capital A, B, C, like that we will write inside this circle shape in order to indicate that this symbol is going to, that is the page is going to be connected with the other page. That is flowchart is going to be extended in the second page. To indicate that only we will use this circle shape. So inside the circle we will write a letter A or B. Okay. Next is the same circle is going to be used in the second page also. For example, if the circle is drawn in the first page end like this, in the second page beginning, the same circle with the same letter is going to be continued with the arrow lines. Okay. So next example, in order to understand the sequence statements. Okay, so draw flowchart to find the simple interest. So flowchart for sequence statements we are going to see. So sequence means what? One after another, every statement is going to be executed without any conditions. So we are not going to use any conditions here. So only in the case of looping statements and selective statements, we will have the conditions. Okay, so in condition statements, true part, false part, like that, two type of part is going to be executed in selective statement. In iterative statement, according to the condition, some statements are going to be executed again, okay, repeated again, okay. So that is only known as iterative or looping statements. So here we are going to start the process, and then in order to calculate the simple interest, we need to have some input values, that is principal amount, P, and rate, okay, and then time, that is duration or time we will say. Okay, so rate of interest, here it is indicated with the R. Okay, so how to calculate the simple interest here? So the formula is, you can look at here, the start is indicated with this oval shape, stop also indicated with oval shape, and input output both are using this parallelogram symbol, and for calculation we are using this process box with this rectangular shape. So SI is equal to, simple interest is equal to P multiplication R multiplication T. So we should not simply write P into R, P or T, like that we should not write. We need to write explicitly P multiplication symbol R multiplication symbol T division 100. Okay, so in order to find the simple interest, and we need to print or display the simple interest value and then stop the process. So this is an example for, this flowchart is an example for what? Simple interest calculation, select sequence statements. Next we are going to see for selective statements. Okay, so we need to draw the flowchart to find the bigger number, okay, among two numbers. So among two numbers, two inputs we are getting here, we need to check whether which number is greater than other one. Okay, so among the two numbers, which is greater, we need to find out. So for that, we will use the condition statements. So this is the example for selective statements. So start the process, get the two values, input the two values by using this parallelogram shape. Next, we need to check the condition immediately. So we need to use the diamond shape. So inside this, we are checking if A is or is A greater than B. Is condition is true, that is greater than, A is greater, that means first number is greater. So print A. Okay, if it is true, print A. Okay, print A is big. If it is false, no. Okay, if it is false means what? It is no. Okay, the condition is false. A is not greater than B, that automatically means which is bigger. B is bigger. So print B is big. So two sides of this decision box we are using here. There is one side true part, another side false part. If the condition is true, the true part only will get executed. After it is printing the answer, it is going to be connected with the stop symbol. Okay, so in the same way, left side also, that is if A is not greater than B, so automatically B is only greater. So print B is big. After that, this is going to be connected with the stop symbol. So either one of the symbol will be executed at a time in case of the selective statement. One part only is going to be executed. Either true part or false part is going to be executed. Next, we are going to see the flowchart for factorial of any number. So here also only one condition and certain statements are going to be executed. This is for looping statements actually. Okay, factorial of a number, no, looping statements we can see. So start the process, input n. Okay, so n is the number of number which for which you are going to find out the factorial. So for example, 4 factorial means how will you calculate? 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, 1, or else 1 star, 2, 1 multiplication, 2 multiplication, 3 multiplication, 4, 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, how much? So 4 3s are 12, 12 2s are 24, 24 into 1, 24 only. So 4 factorial is 24. So this is the logic in order to find out the factorial of the given number. So we will get the number, that is 4 or 5. 5 means 5 factorial means same process, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, or 1 into 2 into 2, 3 into 4 into 5, like that. Either in an increasing order or in a decreasing order, you can take the value and you can multiply it in order to find the factorial of any number. Okay, so if it is a number, entered number is 5 means 5 factorial, need to give 120 as the answer. So for that we will see the flowchart how it is written here. Okay, so input n. First we need to assign the value, initial value, because without 1, if you assign with some other values, 0 and all, if you assign, for I, automatically you'll get 0 only. For any number you'll get 0 only. 0 into anything, 0 only. So I is equal to 1, f is equal to 1. So initially factorial number also is going to be assigned with 1. Okay, so f is also 1 because the final result is going to be stored in f only. Then we are checking I value if I is less than or equal to n. That means the 1 is now the starting number 1 is less than or equal to 5 only. If it is true, that is f is having what value now? 1. So f is multiplied with 1. Okay, now I is 1 only, no? So f is multiplied with 1. So now f will be what? 1 only. So 1 into 1, 1 only. Now I will get incremented. Next I will become 2. I said 1 into 2 into 3. So next number it should be 2 for I. So automatically we need to increment the value of I. So I is equal to I plus 1. That condition is going to be, this flow is going to be assigned to again checking the condition. So it is connected to decision box. So again I is going to be checked 2. So this process is going to be repeated until when? Until I becomes 5, equal to 5. Okay. So now I is 2, 2 is less than 5 only, because n value what we got here is 5. Okay, for assumption, for example, we have taken n value as 5. So I is now 1, 2. 2 is less than 5 only, condition true. So now what is the f value, latest value of f? 1 only. 1 is multiplied with now 2. So 1 star 2, 1 multiplication 2, f will become 2. Now again I will become incremented. So f's latest value or current value is what? 2. Just keep in mind. And now I will become 3, I plus 1. So now I is what? 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So latest value of I is 3. Now this is connected to again decision box. Here I is checked. That is 3 is checked with I 5. Condition true. Again 2 into what is the latest value what we have seen previously is for f 2 only. So 2 star 3 6. 6 is going to be assigned here in f. What is the latest value of f now? After third step, 6 is the f value, factorial value. Now I will become 4. Okay. Then this 4 is checked here. Condition true. 4 is less than or equal to 5 only. Condition true. Again, now f is what? F is 6. So 6 into 4 is 24. 24 is the latest value of f. After fourth test, okay, f value will become 24. Now I will become 5 because 4 into 3 only, sorry, 4 into 6 only we have done. So 24 we have got. Now for f, okay, f is 24, I is now, I will become 5. So 5 is less than 5, condition true, equal to 5, condition true. Now 24 into 5 is 120. Okay, so 24 into 5, 120. So now I value will become 6. So when the condition is checked here, 6 is not less than or equal to 5, condition becomes false. Automatically f is going to be printed. So what is the latest value what we got for f is 120. So 120 is getting printed. Now we are stopping the process. So like that we need to assume the logic, and according to that we need to draw the flow lines and the other symbols. So flow lines, if you are drawing wrongly, so instead of connecting this arrow to here, okay, instead of connecting this arrow no to here, no, if you are connecting to stop, then entire process is wrong. Okay, entire flowchart is wrong according to the given question. Okay. So next is draw flowchart to find the biggest number among n numbers. So we will discuss this flowchart now. We need to start the process. So here we need to take number of values. Okay, how many numbers we want to take? We can take it. Maximum numbers we can take it. So among the entered numbers, which one is bigger? We need to find out. Okay, so let us consider only 3 numbers now. 10, 20, 30 alone we will take now as a 3 numbers. Okay, so n value will be 3. Okay. Now A, 10 is entered here. First value we are entering here. So now immediately I is going to be assigned with 1 because this should be, this is kind of a looping statement only. So iterative statement, because we need to take n number of values. So now n is assigned with 3. So 3 values we need to get from the user. So first we have got 1 value from the user. So immediately that I is, in the next state I is assigned with 1 and big number is assigned with A. Okay, so assign whatever value 10 is passed means 10 is assigned with now assigned to big. Okay, now immediately we are checking the limit whether I is less than or equal to n. That is from one first state to third time. 3 times we need to repeat the process in order to get the 3 numbers. Okay, so first time, now we are in first count. Okay, so 3 counts we need to do it because we have entered the maximum number as 3. So 3 values we need to get. Among the 3 values, we need to find out which one is big. So now I is 1. I is 1 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is true. We are getting input number here, and that is checked with big. So big is also already assigned with the what? The same number only. So big is less than a, condition false. Condition false means I is getting incremented. We need to get the next value here. See here. So now 2 is less than or equal to 3. Condition true. So next number we need to get. So next number, if it is for example, next number, no, if it is 20, so 20 is checked with this big, false. Again, it is going here, and I will become 3. So 3 is less than or equal to 3. Third number I am entering as 30. So 30 is less than 10. Is it true? No, it is not true. Sorry. 30 is checked with now big is assigned with what? Big is assigned with, initially big is assigned with 10. Okay, so 10 is checked with 30. Okay, 10 is checked with 30. So 10 is less than this A. So condition is true. So big is now assigned with A. Okay, so I will become what? I plus 1. Now I is 3. I will become 4. Okay, so 4 is not less than or equal to n, because 4 is not less than or equal to 3. So the condition now, what we have assigned for biggest latest value, that is 30. 30 is assigned with big. So now condition is becoming false here in this case because I becomes 4 now. 4 is not less than or equal to 3. So automatically condition is false. So it is going and printing big. Okay, biggest number. So like this, we need to think from where to where the flow of control need to go. According to that, we need to think and draw the flow chart. Okay, so next last topic what we are going to see here is in this chapter, finite and infinite loop. So in looping statements, if some set of statements are going to be executed n times means we have assigned the number of times. Okay, fixed number of times is given here. Okay, n means it's a number. So one number is assigned here. So how many times some set of statements need to be executed? If it is assigned already, then it is called what loop? Finite loop. So this finite loop, where it will occur, in which kind of statements it will be there? In an iterative statements or looping statements. So in looping statements, if some set of statements are executed n times or fixed number of times, then it is called a finite loop. At the same time, if some set of statements are executed again without any end, that is without any end means what? Infinite times if it is going to be executed, then it is called infinite loop. For example, if we are not incrementing I index value here, if we are not incrementing I index value, then it will get endless loop, infinite loop. So the following example is an example for infinite loop. So we need to draw the flowchart to bring the number from 1 to infinity. See, this is the symbol like 8. No, if you are writing in a horizontal way, then it is called an infinite symbol. So start, input n, I is assigned with 1, I is less than or equal to n. We need to print that numbers. So from 1 to 10 I want to print. Okay, n is assigned with 10. Okay, so I is now assigned with 1. 1 is checked with 10. Condition true. 1 is less than or equal to 10 only, no? So condition true. Now I is printed. What is I now? 1. After printing I should get incremented here. So this like one rectangular shape and I is equal to I plus 1. That symbol need to be included here after this print I, but it is not included here. So due to that, what is happening here? I is not at all incremented. So again it is going here. I is checked. What is the I value now? 1 only. 1 is checked with 10. Again 1 only is printed. So continuously you will get 1 in the screen. This is known as infinite loop. It will never get stopped. It will never go to this no part. It is going to be executed in S part itself. So this kind of looping statement. So it is making one circle. See here, it is starting here and going here, and it is repeated here and B. So it is making one circle only continuously. It is looping. Okay, so looping means what's a kind of circle shape only. So without end, okay, it is going to be repeated again. Okay, so that endless loop only is otherwise known as infinite loop. So in the above example, I value is not at all incremented here. In this place, it is not at all incremented. So it will create the endless loop. It is not going to be ended at all. So this is also called as infinite loop. So note, set of statements is executed again without any end is called infinite loop. So if they are asking any definition like what is infinite loop, so we can write like this: a set of statements is executed again without any end is known as, is called as infinite loop. So we will see some exercise, 1 marks questions answers we will see, and question answers and 1 marks everything I have finished. I have sent to you the answers also in your group. You can check the answers and you need to write the question answers and 1 mark questions in your classwork note. Okay, so then in future, if any test is going to be conducted, you can refer these question answers and you can prepare for your test, and you can write the test nicely. So now we will see 1 mark questions answers alone in a oral way. So a step-by-step method of solving a problem using English language. Okay, so using English language, which is going to be written in English language in this chapter, algorithm only. Okay, so algorithm is a step-by-step method for solving a problem. It is not a program. Okay, step-by-step method is algorithm only. Next is setup statement is executed based upon a conditional test. Set of statements are going to be executed based upon a conditional test is selective statements. Okay, next is set of statements is executed again. If you see the word again based on conditional test, then it is known as looping. The graphical representation or diagrammatic representation of algorithm is known as flow chart. Okay, all instructions are executed one after the other. Then this statement is known as what? Sequence statements. So for the other questions and you can see the PDF format and you can understand from that. Okay, so any doubt in this question and answers, what I have sent to you. If you have any doubts, you can clarify with me through phone call. Okay, thank you. We will discuss next in the next video. We will discuss next chapter, that is Python programming fundamentals. We will discuss. Okay, thank you.